Rango tells the story of a sheltered pet chameleon with an identity crisis.
Try to blend in. Blend in.
I'm blending. I'm a blender.
Far from home, Rango stumbles across a lawless desert town.
Ow!
You're funny looking.
You're funny looking too.
When he's mistaken for a hero, Rango jumps at the chance to finally be somebody.
You are gonna save us, aren't you?
We got hope.
With the town's survival in his hands, Rango must overcome his timid ways to become the brave lizard he's always wanted to be.
Make your move.
The film we're here to talk about is Rango. Gore Verbinski directed it. We've all just seen it. Let's get into the concept and story.
I would say that the concept here is probably is pretty much the fucking balls. Like if there was any movie.
Is that a compliment or?
No, the balls is a compliment.
Okay. I needed my check filter after that.
If something is balls, that's bad. If it's the balls, then it's good.
It's a gonzo western with the plot of Chinatown and a bunch of gross-looking animals. Like it's awesome. Yeah. It kind of suffers under the weight of that, though. The story, I feel like, is a little off. I didn't buy it.
This movie drags on and is so boring. And animation, you have the ability to control every single frame of every second of every scene. There's no excuse in animation for a movie to be boring. That's all poor directing.
My main problem is that I cannot fall in love with Rango. Like, he, to me, is just someone that is socially awkward, which is totally understandable because he's lived in a box forever.
He's an actor.
You ain't from round here, are you?
I'm still working on it.
I mean, it's an animated film about lizards and chameleons. How deep do you want this thing to go?
Lizards are still characters.
But you know, I felt like he was that friend of yours that's like high all the time, that doesn't really know when he's stepping. Like he's like Mr. Bean in a weird way. He doesn't know the strange situations that he's in.
No. But what I think it is, though, I think it's very much about the American West, because you can make yourself into whatever it is or whoever it is you want to be, and that's what he does. He creates this little myth that surrounds him, and then what he does, he struggles to live up to that myth.
Who exactly are you? Name's Rango.
You know, I feel like some of this tension is really about people liking the concept, but maybe not liking the execution of the writing. Maybe we could actually talk a little bit about the writing.
What's kind of disappointing about this is that it could have been something like a Fantastic Mr. Fox, where it straddles a line between sort of appeasing a younger audience and the audience it's going to be pitched to, and then also, you know, an adult audience is something that's a little more sophisticated. But for me, like, some of the stuff in here is genuinely brilliant. It's genius. Some of the jokes were just sort of situational or amazing. But, you know, the written stuff isn't really. Like, the stuff that the sort of one-liners and shit are very much generated for a kid audience.
And it does play on a bit long sometimes, and I'll give you that.
Sometimes? The entire movie, I was squirming in my seat.
No, but I disagree. I felt like the things that I felt like could have been better about the writing is there could have been a tighter relationship between the character development and a lot of the plot threads that got. Like I felt like the plot threads are very dispersed.
It's episodic. It's basic screenwriting stuff, where it's just the scenes are too long in the beginning. Like it takes too long to get into the story.
It's important to note that, you know, this is Gore's first film and it's ILM's first animated film. And so they had a lot of innovation they could experiment with. And one of the things they did was with this concept of emotion capture. In this film, what they did is they shot it like a black box theater. So the entire cast was there and they performed it and then they filmed it.
Like they're on stage.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
And I think that actually made a huge difference because the behavioral actions of the performers really came up in the project, which is awesome, you know?
And you get a really good sense of Johnny Depp's weird, floppy physicality that comes out in the character.
Especially from, you know, Captain Jack Sparrow like this, you know. Yeah, I definitely got that as well.
I feel like if we want to talk generally about the cast, I feel like the cast is very cohesive. There were strong main players as well as really strong side players.
I'm fighting against you guys again.
Bill Nighy is the balls.
He's my favorite. No,
I mean, like, scared the living crap out of me.
And Depp, I think, I mean, he was one of those ones where I didn't realize how great of a performance he gave in that until like a day later.
Yeah.
It was just so understated.
I can't agree with that. My biggest problem is that I just didn't feel like Johnny Depp's voice fits with the appearances of Rango. Like that that thing took me out throughout pretty much most of the movie. It took me a while to actually get used to his voice. Like, and watching his character in the movie.
That's so interesting. I had totally the opposite
I
reaction.
was completely there.
Yeah.
I was not at all. Like, everyone else did it for me, but him.
That's a funny looking shirt.
It's a funny looking dress.
You got funny looking eyes.
You got a funny looking face.
Well, I mean, let's actually talk about the art. Thank you for that.
I think that's one thing that we can all
and
agree
talk about
upon.
the
though.
general, and talk about the production value of this film. Like, what did you guys think about the art?
Fucking gorgeous.
It's brilliant. It's good.
It was
It's good.
gorgeous.
But what the most impressive part of it, though, is unlike other animation films, you really feel the presence of the camera. There's a sense of a camera in space and moving around, and the word cinematic can mean so many different things,
Yes.
but this movie felt genuinely cinematic. My favorite shot of the entire movie is that thing silhouetted against the sun, and you have the heat haze wandering across the screen, and they're riding the birds across the thing.
And the characters had this really great grotesque element, which you talked about earlier, but they were all distinct and strange and really not safe.
Like, it wasn't afraid to make its characters just filthy.
Yeah.
Like, they
Right.
were dirty,
And rugged.
nasty people, and it went there. I mean, it was just...
It's a very
it's like-
gritty texture.
It's like animated Deadwood,
Yeah.
kind of, in a way.
Yes,
You know?
actually, I agree with that.
And the mariachi as characters were amazing.
What?
Oh, and another-
The mariachi characters?
The little owls.
You like them?
Yeah.
Those were such deceitful owls. The entire movie, they're like, this is going to be a great film. This is going to be really good. And the story never comes.
But the lizard, he's going to die.
Well, I think in our little hamlet, we're not going to come to any more consensus more than we've discussed. So I think it's time to actually vote. So everybody, you want to take your tickets?
All right.
So the movie is Rango. So are you guys going to see it, stream it, or skip it?
I will go first. I really like the visual of this movie. It looks absolutely fucking stunning. But after all, for me, when I watch a movie, I really focus more on the story, and the story just felt really boring and flat to me. So I am going to skip it.
Didn't you vote for Inception as Best Picture?
Yes. Yes.
I had such high hopes for you, Wayne. This is a fantastic madcap fever dream of a Western, and I think to get the whole experience, you need to see it in the theater. So I'm going to say, see it.
Yes!
I'm going to disagree with that. I think to get the whole experience of this movie, you need to be on drugs. And
Yes! Double yes! Why are we not in agreement here?
unfortunately, I do not do drugs, so skip it.
I'm actually going to take a breather from shoving my reviews up everyone's ass this week, and I'm going to say stream it. I think it's... Yes! I think it's worth going to see.
Oh, wow. Well, I think it's a pretty
That's
incredible
actually a very special moment.
We've never, ever had
I don't have a hat, but that's okay.
a positive review.
This is terrifying.
Yes.
So we have 1.5 tickets, which is a stream it for Rango, although in my heart, it's a see it. And I do,
Anyway,
and
chin
I
chin.
will chin
Chin
on that.
chin.
What
Into
is-
that.
See it, Rango. Woo!
You're all fucks.